achieved.
Welcome back to Kamikaze Overdrive MMA Predictions. As always, I am your host, Scott Johnson, and this is the UFC 153 post-fight show. And I'm going to get right into it. I want to kind of keep this show short. I went 6-6 overall with my predictions. I did go 4-2 on the main card, which was a little bit of a nice rebound. It was a tough night of predicting. A couple things didn't go the way I had hoped they went or expected them to go. Others did, and I just did not get the results I was looking for. Either way, I'm going to run through my fight-by-fight breakdowns, talk about a couple other things. I am going to talk about my bet packs, and I'm going to do the draw for the UFC 153 bet pack heartandglory.com free t-shirt winner. I'll do that live in a few seconds. Now let's look at the fight-by-fight predictions. Kick it off with Cristiano Marcelo versus Reza Madadi. Marcelo getting the win. I took Madadi. I thought Madadi won it. I thought it was absurd that there was a 30-27 in favor of Marcelo. Either way, I think that was a very close fight. I told people in the bet packs not to bet on it because there was too much emotion involved. Either way, did not like the decision there, but I'm 0-1. Followed up, Luis Kane, Chris Kamikaze. Kane did not look good, or Kane as he wants to be called now, did not look good. Wouldn't be shocked if he gets cut. Kamikaze came after him, did a nice job. Other than Kane getting his back in the opening round, I thought Kamikaze looked pretty good and impressed me with his improvement, so I'm 0-2. Not a very good start. Kick to the main, the FX preliminary fight, Sergio Moraes against Hane Forche, or Forch, whatever you want to refer to him as. Moraes gets the win by submission. I picked it again, a fight I wasn't 100% sure, but I felt Moraes had the better skills. Forch looked not bad on the feet, but in the end it was the submission grappling that got the job done. So I'm 1-2. Diego Brandao, Joey Gambino. First upset of the evening I predicted. I took Joey Gambino. Diego Brandao impressed me. He fought a more conservative opening round. He still had success, but he didn't go balls to the wall all out, which usually cost him in the second half of that fight, and he did a nice job, and that's what he has to do to be successful. Joey Gambino still showing that he needs more conditioning at this elite level. I'd like to see him get one more time in the octagon because he did take some big shots. He hung in there. He didn't do a ton on offense, but he at least seemed to be willing to engage. So good win for Diego Brandao. I'm 1-3, definitely not liking this. Up next, Gleison Tebow, Francisco Trinaldo. I took Trinaldo to win the fight. I thought it would be close. The takedowns for Tebow in rounds 1 and 3 were the difference. Francisco Trinaldo nearly finished the fight in the second round. It was very close with that huge knockdown. The guy throws big power and just was not willing to... he wasn't going down without a fight. He threw big power at Tebow. He dropped him. He had a rear naked opportunity, an arm triangle opportunity. Either way, Tebow's a beast, a tough guy to put away, and we found that out. And I really expected going up the round Tebow would turn things around with the takedowns, and he did, and Trinaldo couldn't do anything about it. Finally, Ronnie Jason defeating Sam Cecilia by knockout. I took that fight on the by knockout. I was very happy. Ronnie Jason, one of my top, I think my number 2 confidence pick. He takes out Sam Cecilia. Good fight. Cecilia looked good. I think Jason hurt his hands because he started throwing a lot of awkward elbows and wasn't nearly as active in the second round. Either way, Jason looked very solid. Cecilia he's a crowd-pleasing type of guy, but he has a lot of holes in his striking game. Either way, I got a win. So that puts me to a 2-4 record going to the main card. Not exactly the best. I think I should have been at least 3-3 with the opening fight. Should have gone my way, but either way, can't do anything about it now. Rick Story, Damian Maia. Ooh, that blood gushing from Story's nose looked, scary. I took Maia by submission, so I go to 3-4, get things off with my second straight win, so things rolling in the right direction. Maia looks like he could be a force at welterweight if he can continue to have those early success with grappling. He's talked about the trouble he's had at 170 making the cut. So the big question is if someone can defend those early submission attempts and drag this fight into the second half of a grueling matchup, what will happen with Damian Maia? So I'm 3-4 now. Up next, Phil Davis, Wagner Prado. I took Davis by decision. I was tempted to go with him by submission. No, I think I said submission. Either way, Davis wins by submission. I'm 4-4. He did exactly what his takedowns looked good. He did a nice job setting them up. Prado didn't have much of an answer for anything, and he definitely was very excited to start the fight, and that was gone midway through the first round when Davis basically was on top of him and grinding him out. I really don't know where Phil Davis sits in the little light heavyweight division. We showed he struggles with his stand-up against a guy like Rashad Evans. I think he's dangerous. Anybody can get on his back. Interesting to see. I'd like to see maybe Phil Davis, Ryan Bader be interesting, even though Bader's coming off a loss. John Fitch, Eric Silva. So now I'm 4-4, and I'm hoping at this point I'm 4-4, and I've won 3 fights in a row, hoping to turn it around get over 500 with this. John Fitch grinds out Eric Silva. This is what I expected with the Charlie Brenneman fight, but Fitch clearly just a beast of a man. People don't like him. I'm giving him props. Fight of the night here. I took Silva by knockout. He had his moments, but I talked about footage where Silva, if he gets in the later stages in a heavy grappling-based fight, he has trouble. And John Fitch certainly exposed that here. Good for Eric Silva to at least gut it out, but he certainly seemed broken later in that fight. He did his best, but his conditioning was not there, and I think that's going to be the knock on him unless he cleans it up. He's still a young guy, long way to go. And I think of almost the Rory McDonald-Carlos Condit fight where Rory fading late cost him that match, and he rebounded. I think Silva should have significant or a similar rebound anyway. John Fitch, I found it very interesting that a 30-27 one for Fitch too, which that rear naked choke was pretty close. I think that could have easily gone to Silva that round. John Fitch, curious to see where they put him in the welterweight division at this point. He's still a contender, he's still a grinder, but I don't think you're going to see him, unless Carlos Condit wins the title, I don't think you're going to see him getting a shot at George St. Pierre anytime soon. Glover Teixeira, Fabio Maldonado. I get back to 500, 5-5. I took Teixeira by submission. You saw him attempt a couple early. Maldonado survived. Glover Teixeira is a beast, but I think we saw a little bit of that mystique disappear when Fabio Maldonado, one left hook on his chin, rocked him, and you start thinking, well, what happens if you're facing a guy like Rampage Jackson, who has now called out Glover and said he can handle him, or some other decent fighter who can maybe stand up with him and bang with him. Very interesting to see how that turns out. Either way, Teixeira gets another win. That's 2 wins against lower tier guys, and I know he's supposed to face Rampage. It's now time to get him up there. I like to see Glover Teixeira take on the winner of Alexander Gustafsson, Shogun, who for a title shot. I think that would be very deserving of those 3 guys, whoever emerges from that mess getting a title shot. Fabio Maldonado, he's a beast, he's a warrior, but like I said, his striking defense is not there. He got hammered and hit. His ground game is not there. He's probably not, I think Dana White said he won't be getting cut, and it was impressive for him to take that beating. Thank you for the doctor stepping in. Mario Yamasaki probably should have stopped that fight when he had the opportunity, not rely on the doctor. Either way, Glover Teixeira, whatever you want to refer to him as, moving forward. Big Nug, Dave Herman. This is an upset. This dropped me to 5-6 and ended my hope of salvaging it with a decent 7-5 record. Dropped me to 5-6. I took Herman to pull off the upset. He started off fantastic, or at least doing well with that nice hip toss. He had some good kicks, and he had some good movement. That's what I was hoping for, and all of a sudden he just stopped. And he did that weird stance in front of Nogueira. You stood there, and it's like, well, what are you planning on doing here? And he just continued, he showed some decent submission defense, but he kept putting himself in bad positions. He got dropped, and I was actually hoping when Nogueira won the fight, he would announce that was it. Going out with a submission win in Brazil, I'm finished. He did not look good. Herman just had I don't know what kind of game. That could be the worst game plan in the history of MMA. Well, maybe not, but either way, he looked terrible. I won't be surprised if Herman gets cut. At the same time, I wouldn't be surprised to keep him around for one more fight and let somebody else take him on and get a win and bounce him up and bounce that other guy up the standings. Either way, disappointed in Herman. Maybe he can make 205. I don't know. Big Nog, I'm not sure where he goes from here. Good for him to get the victory. I think this is maybe should be a point where he says, I've had enough. I'm going home. Either way, I'm 5-6. Go to the main event. Anderson Silva, Stephan Bonnar. I picked Anderson by TKO, so I finished the night with a record of 6-6. Not a great night. Again, 4-2 in the main card, but I wasn't happy with the way the evening went, and I'll talk about the bet packs in a second. Anderson Silva by TKO is what I picked. Stephan Bonnar's a tough guy. He came out and he did exactly what I expect him to do. Hold Silva on the wall, look for takedowns, and Anderson basically just goofed him. He basically stood there and said, I'll stay on the wall. You want to fight me on the fence? Go for it. Let's do it. And then he nails that beautiful knee to the chest, drops him, puts him away. I'm actually hoping Stephan Bonnar doesn't like the way that ended and comes back. I'd love to see Stephan Bonnar take on some decent level guys at light heavyweight. I think he'd be an interesting fight. Bonnar versus somebody like Glover Teixeira be an okay fight. It would help to give Glover another big win potentially. I don't know if Stephan Bonnar can hang with him. Or Bonnar versus Rampage Jackson, and basically the loser that's probably going home. Winner that becomes a little more relevant if Rampage decides not to take his ball and go home. Either way, Anderson Silva, probably the greatest of all time, cemented it with another win. But I think he said he's not going to fight anymore at 205. Well, then that means you're going to fight at 185. You have to start dealing now with the Chris Weidmans, the Michael Bispings, potentially Alan Belcher, and if the Strikeforce does fold, Luke Rockhold. You have to fight those guys. You can't just keep putting it off forever. Anderson Silva, step up, take those guys on. If you are the greatest of all time, these are some hungry, talented guys. Beat them down, cement your legacy. Either way, very interesting. 6-6 overall, not the greatest night of fights. Predictions for me. Now, over to the bet pack. Bet pack, I didn't have a single winning parlay, and none of my upsets came through, so none of my value picks came through. My confidence list was 4-1. I had Glover Teixeira as my number 1 confidence pick, Ronnie Jason as my number 2 confidence pick. I had Anderson Silva as my number 4, and Phil Davis as my number 5. So I had 4 winners there. My only loss was, again, Eric Silva. Disappointing there. Prop bets. I nailed some of the prop bets. I said the Herman Nogueira fight would go under 2.5 rounds. Some sites offered 2.5, others offered at 1.5. I said if it's under 2.5, take it. I said Fabio Maldonado and Glover Teixeira also under 2.5. They went under that mark. And what else? I had one other fight. Oh, and I said Ronnie Jason, Sam Vasilia under 2.5, and again they did the same thing. So there's my 3 prop bets, 4-1 there. Again, 4-2 on the on my main card fights. Bet packs again. Some people record sales, ton of sales, huge numbers for my bet packs. Very happy with that. A lot of first time buyers, and again I'm preaching to you guys. And a lot of people are going to say, well, I bought this and it was garbage. It wasn't that good. Yes, it wasn't a good one. I could admit that. I lost money too on this evening. Come back and give it 2 or 3 more opportunities. Give yourself 2 or 3 more opportunities with the bet packs. I've got some guys who buy every week, and they're the ones who are getting those 8-2, 7-4, 10-3 nights or 10-2 nights where I'm doing really well and putting a lot of money in your pocket. So it's like if I have one bad night and 2 or 3 good nights, you're coming out ahead. So please don't give up. I know some of you will, and you'll just go home with it. I'd say stick around for a couple more. The next bet pack's actually going to be a little bit of a cheaper one. The next event is November 3rd, World Series of Fighting. I'm going to do a bet pack for that, a whole prediction show. The bet packs are only going to be $7, so please consider checking them out. Either way, I understand if you don't want to buy them and go forth, but I had a lot of success. This was an off night. You have to assume they're coming. It's gambling. That's why it's called gambling, because you're going to have nights where it's just disappointing and doesn't work out for you. Either way, certainly reconsider buying. We get a nice break between now and the end of the year. Just quickly, looking at the Joe Caporale, Joe Caporale, Josh Harper, and Joel Riche. Check out their results. They all did very well on this night. I can't remember the records all off the top. I think Caporale went 9-3, which is very impressive. I believe Harper and Riche both went 7-5. They had good nights too, but certainly take a look at their predictions. I was very impressed with what they had to offer on that evening, or for that evening's picks. And finally, it is time to get into my... Is there anything else I want to touch upon before I move on? No, I think I did have I had some pretty good winning information. There were some fights where I didn't pick, for instance with Gleison Tebow, I didn't pick him, but I said he's certainly worth a bet. Same thing with John Fitch, and I talked about how to combine those guys and make some money, so certainly take a look at that. When this is posted, you'll be able to scroll down and you'll be able to see the entire bet pack. And now I want to get back to it. I have to go pick up the draw numbers for the free picks, so give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. I'd taken all the names from the bet packs, all the emails, thrown them into a hat, and then lost the hat. It's NFL Sunday, so obviously I'm a little bit, and I'm enjoying we have a little break for the next event, and it's NFL Sunday, so I'm a little bit distracted. But either way, here we are now. I have the hat. I have all the names. I pull one out, and let me just read this. I won't read the whole email, and I will contact this individual. I'll send this email out to let everybody read who the winner was. The winner is SeanJohn90 and then the domain name. I will contact SeanJohn90, and they will be winning a free heartandglory.com t-shirt of their choice. MMA shirt, very cool stuff. Again, just for buying the bet packs. We don't always give out the shirts, but for a lot of this, it's the third one in a row. So congratulations, Sean John. I think it's the third winner. So thank you very much for everybody who bought the bet packs. Please come back for the World Series of Fighting prediction show. It will be in a couple of weeks. $7 bet pack, all the same stuff at a discounted price, and hopefully I think there's some money to be made, because when you have some of these fringe events where you have some names, you have some new guys on their eyes, some of the betting shops or the books don't know exactly what to do with the lines, so there's certainly holes there and we can make a little bit of cash. Either way, UFC 153, not the best night. And one thing before I go, too, I want to comment, the referee stand-ups were absolutely ridiculous. Fernando Yamasaki, it seemed like they hit the ground. He's clapping his hands, saying, come on, guys, stand, let's do something, or I'm going to stand you up. And it's like, okay. Like I fully expected when Glover Teixeira locked on that arm triangle on Fabio, if Fernando was on top of things, he'd have been, come on, stand you up, let's do something. Well, mid-submission. He doesn't know what he's doing, and he needs to be reprimanded and explained that if those guys, somebody's dropping shots, they don't have to be constantly doing shots. They're picking their places. They're trying not to punch themselves out. Either way, not smart. And I guess I already talked about Mario Yamasaki's inability to stop that fight with Teixeira and Maldonado when it should have been stopped, and Maldonado was clearly incapable of defending himself, or at least was very vulnerable to being hurt significantly. Either way, thank you very much for buying the bet packs. UFC 153, not a great night, but I will rebound. World Series of Fighting is the next one, November 3rd. You have to check it out. Thank you for listening. Kamikaze Overdrive MMA predictions.